The church is not ancient Israel, therefore we don't need to see this as consistent. We really, in other words, that it almost kind of takes this ultra-neutral stance with the nation of Israel today. And, part of these arguments, I think the limitation of them is that what it potentially leads to in consequence. And that is the idea that, if we look at Deuteronomy, when it talks about the nation returning back, and in fact, that's replete throughout the prophets about God restoring his people to their land. Now, you spiritualize that, and you can kind of come along with this replacement theology mentality that these prophecies or these promises have to do with the church. But one of the things that we know in Paul's understanding, according to Romans 9 through 11, he had not seen Deuteronomy chapter 30 as fulfilled yet. And he still sees the Jewish people as having a part of prominence in God's promises. And that had not happened in his day yet. To take a neutral stance on the nation of Israel today, in which, by the way, the nation of Israel being established on its own land is creating a harbinger and a place for God to be able to work with his people to return them where they should be. Yes, it's true. Sure, it's not a theocracy. Maybe the current nation of Israel is not what it is, defined on biblical terms. I understand that, but it also sets the stage for those promises to be fulfilled, which do have their testament in the Torah and later in the apostolic writings. I think it's important, if we look at chapters like Deuteronomy chapter 30, it helps shape our theology to a proper biblical view of how we see the nation of Israel. And the Jewish people particularly, right? Yes, sure, it is a political entity today that is not a theocracy. But again, it is something that I think will set the stage for God to do his end-time fulfillment of prophecy and restoring his people to their land and circumcising the heart, right? And it's in that context when Paul talks about all Israel being saved.